I want them to give me a 5-year mandate, and I will seek no other mandate. That is what I ask the Gambian people to do. And I want to address the issue of the constitution. We want to have a new constitution in the Gambia. We cannot continue to be governed by the constitution that the military dictatorship imposed on us. We have also amended for about 52 times just to ensure that the regime is self-perpetuated. We want to address that. We want also to address the economy of this country. We want to address the civil service. And of course, the security sector reform must also be properly addressed. So I have assigned myself 4 areas to address, to concentrate on during this 5-year period. And each of those areas, will definitely, each of them will have some sort of impact or relevant to other sectors in the country. The civil service, if I properly run civil service,
and we'll keep following.
Efficient services will be delivered.
We look forward
if you deal with the economy, then the plight of ordinary people
of becoming
will be begun to be addressed.
Thank you very much.
If you deal with security sector reform properly, then the Gambian people are not only assured of the fact that the state itself is secured, but the individuals, their personal security is also ascertained. And they will be also sure that the Gambian security forces are not the political appendage of any party. They will be Republican in their orientation, and they will be Republican in the services they do to the people of the Gambia. So these are four things that I have assigned myself to do in this 4-year period. And I think all of them, except one that will be a continuous process, can be achieved. It can give the Gambian people a constitution within 2 years of our coming into office. We can start putting the economy on the right footing, but then the economic growth will have to continue after my exit. The security sector reform also can also be done within this 5-year period. A civil service that the Gambian people deserve can also be created. There will be reform, and we'll have accomplished that. And then the economic reforms that we are starting will continue, and I think we will lay the foundation in such a way that no one can deviate from it.
So, Mr. Darboe, my question is, why are you asking the people of the Gambia to give you an only one term, a 5-year mandate? What is the significance of that? And are you committed to that? Because as some of them say, politicians come to promise them heaven only to come to power and want to stay there in perpetuity.
That is correct. That has been the trait of some politicians, but our characters are different. You see, if you go back to 1996, that was the promise I had given to the Gambian people. When I was much younger, that's the promise I had given to the Gambian people. That gave me the mandate, and I'll serve 5 years, and I'll serve only for 5 years. But by then, I had identified 1 or 2 people in the opposition ranks that I think can take over, because I had then been considering myself as a professional lawyer, not a politician. Yeah? And I still believe in this one-term mandate for me. It is one that I am...
Will that be enough? Will that be enough? Will that be enough to enable you undertake these 4 major issues you promised the people of Gambia to embark upon? Will that 5-year mandate be enough for you to actualize it and improve their living conditions?
Well, I certainly believe that the 3 areas can be completed within that 5-year period. I mean, to give the Gambian people a constitution, that shouldn't take more than 3 years. To carry out a genuine and effective security reform, sector reform, should not take more than 4 years. To really, reform the civil service shouldn't take anybody more than 4 years. The economy, of course, yeah, when you deal with that, that has to be a continuous process. And that's why I'm saying that, when I leave, my successors can continue with economic reform. So I don't think any government can say that, look, I have finished, what I want to do to improve the economy of the country, because this is a continuing process, and adjustments being made here and there, and things will also be informed, by global matters. So you can't say that yes, I've done my economic reform, that is it, and no more. It's a continuous process. So I can assure you that within 5 years, I'll do these three major areas, and then the reforms will let that continue to be carried out by my successors. And alhamdulillah, thank God, I have a pool of highly efficient, well-committed, well-educated, exposed people younger than myself who will carry my baton. Yes, I can assure the government people that, and the world about that.
So, Mr. Darboe, politically speaking, what do you think your realistic chances are of defeating incumbent President Adama Barrow? Looking at the fact that he has the power of incumbency, he has the name recognition, and he has been in power for some time now after defeating former President Yahya Jammeh.
But see, I'm not speaking like a politician. I know every politician says, look, I have good chances. Even those who know that they do not even command support within their own household. But they will say, yes, I'm going to win the next presidential election. And I'm speaking very realistically, that we have the greatest opportunity this time to really destool Barrow. Gambian people are ready to vote him out. We know that he's using the road infrastructure development as a tool for his propaganda. But the Gambian people have realized that President Macky Sall did enormous infrastructural development in Senegal. Abdoulaye Wade did enormous infrastructural development in Senegal. Those are our neighbors. Better infrastructures than what he has done for the Gambian people. So that is not something that the Gambian people are listening to. It's the bread and butter issue. 3 consecutive years, you cannot give the farmers what they deserve. You don't have medications in hospitals. In a month, how many people cross our borders to go into Senegal for medical treatment? How many people fly away to Turkey, to India, to Ghana, to seek medical attention? These are things that are of concern to Gambian people. They rather have good medical service delivery than macadamized road, than tarmac roads, with some of which have started really developing potholes. They rather have those things. So we are really confident that we will succeed at the next elections, and we are not only, we know that we have the ability, but we also working with we also want to work with other political parties to have.
I was about to ask you that, because some people are suggesting that going it alone might be difficult, although you have a chance of becoming the next president. Working in a coalition with other opposition political leaders could significantly improve your chances of defeating the incumbent president. So is this in the cards, or are you thinking about a coalition that you will lead ahead of the elections to challenge the incumbent president?
Well, certainly a coalition, if for nothing, psychologically, it does a lot of good for the candidate, because the electors will start saying that, well, yes, we have Mr. A, Mr. Y, and Mr. B in that coalition, so that's going to be a very good government. We should vote for them. So we have always agreed to be part of a coalition. We have never given our back to any idea, any suggestion for working out a coalition with other parties, and we are willing to do so. And I can assure you that I am personally taking this on myself to talk to leaders, in fact, all of them, and I hope that my appeal to them will not be dismissed with a wave of hand. I don't think it will be, because I think they are all very, very responsible leaders who are eager to really have the Gambia out of this quagmire, to put the Gambia on a footing that all of us will be proud of us, and then all of us will say, yes, we together, we did this for the people of the Gambia.
Talking about the people of the Gambia, some of your critics are saying, Mr. Darboe, that you supported the president, you gave him your mandate, you joined his government, you were a cabinet minister, you served in different capacities, including being a foreign minister and all that. And now you are just deciding for a personal aggrandizement move to want to become the next president of the Gambia. So why should they trust you when you supported, you were in that cabinet that did not meet the aspirations of the people and did not solve their problems? So why should they trust you this time around, that they should trust you to resolve their issues for them?
Well, when I supported the president, I didn't support him to preside over an institution that we call corruption. I never did that. And corruption is one of the greatest obstacles to our development. It's the cankerworm that is destroying our society. I never supported that, and I could never support that. Never supported wasteful expenditure. We never supported that, and we could never support that. So these are at least two issues that should make any sensible and reasonable person to really part ways with the president. When you talk of personal aggrandizement, I could have stayed on as vice president, doing whatever he wanted. Yeah. And there couldn't be any bigger office in this country, apart from the presidency, than the vice president. So if there's an issue of personal aggrandizement, an issue of self, I would have stayed on. I stayed on to really play ball with him, be part of the game in the corruption, be part of the game in wasting the resources of this country, and then I'll enjoy the sweets of the office. And the grandeur of the office, I'll then be enjoying it. But no, it's not personal aggrandizement. After all, in 1996, when the situation was really very hostile, all sorts of risks we were exposed to, not a question of personal aggrandizement could have taken us to really come out and challenge Jammeh. But it was the hope and confidence that people had in me, and I had to carry that. I still carry that burden of hope and confidence. So it's not personal aggrandizement. I want to give my service to the Gambian people, and they know that when I was in cabinet, they know that I had acquitted myself in the way and manner Gambian people expected of a good leader.
So Mr. Darboe, my question to you is, you mentioned the issue of corruption. You mentioned tackling the issue of corruption. What specific measures are you going to implement to weed out corruption in the Gambia?
Well, in the first place, there will be no witch hunt. Because if you embark on witch hunting opponents, you'll just be stagnating, because your concentration will just be on that, and the other issues that should need urgent attention, you certainly not address those ones. We'll make sure that the Anti-Corruption Commission is just not in name, but it's in reality an anti-corruption institution, and everything would have to start with the head of state. When we are there, we'll make sure that periodically we make declarations of our assets. Certainly we make sure that we do that. We'll certainly make sure that phony foundations are not set up by any of my relations, including my wife's. None of them will set up phony foundations, because those are the channels through which people funnel illicit money, all in the guise of assisting poor people, when in fact, actual fact, is going to the pockets of those who are higher up. And we'll certainly ensure that our budget is properly streamlined so that the waste that is occurring ceases. You have dead woods in the services, people who have absolutely no use. Those offices should be abolished. And certainly, in fact, in order to start curbing waste, in mid-2017, we will certainly look at the budget, because the 2017 budget, the 2027 budget would have been passed by the current regime. And it will only be about mid-2027 that we can have an opportunity to look at that budget. We would then hopefully have had a National Assembly that is consensus, a National Assembly that is forward-looking, that wants to really be part of the history to curb waste in this country. We look at all areas. We want to look at how much do we spend on fuel in this country? How much do we spend on air travels? Is it necessarily for the president to go on and attend all these international meetings? If it is necessary that there has to be fiscal person, why not the vice president? Because it will be cheaper for the vice president to go abroad and attend conference than the president, because the paraphernalia, all the baggage that the president goes with, from those who polish shoes to those who make the table for dinner, and there are all air tickets for all these people, allowances, DSS for all these people. We want to make sure that we really control that.
Now, Mr. Darboe, you talked about having assets declaration, ensuring declaration of assets. The question is, will it be public declaration of assets? Because there have been instances where promises have been made about declaration of assets. Assets are declared, but they are kept somewhere in a file, and the public do not know what are in those files. So in your case of fighting against corruption, how transparently will you have the declaration of assets in the move to weed out graft in the Gambia?
Yes, I've just told you that you have to lead by example. In my last declaration of assets, which I submitted to the authorities, I publicized it to the public. It was all over the social media. It was in the print media in the Gambia, to show that yes, as at this date, this is how much I have, how many properties I have, this is how much is in my bank account. I publish it to the public, and I'm going to continue to do that. And if I have to leave office also, I will do the same thing, because that will ensure that the declarations are not made and only kept in files, and that to ensure that full declaration is made, full disclosure is made. Because if you do not make a full disclosure, what you have disclosed is just what is in the file. It could be far less than what really stands to your credit. So we make this public so that the public will have access to it at any given time, and when I leave office, they can judge me by what I declare at the end of my at the end of my tenure. They can judge me by that. Yes, we certainly will have to do that, and certainly.
So, Mr. Darboe, before we go, what would be your message to the people of the Gambia, and to prospective voters who you think should choose you over your opponent in the coming elections?
Gambian people, I'm sure, would have by now known the character of Mr. Darboe, the Gambian people should by now know that Mr. Darboe venture into politics is one of service to the country and not one of, as we would say, personal aggrandizement. That my belief in improving the livelihood of the areas we come from, the rural areas, the common man, is so high up in our agenda that we are the people that should be voted in. We want to tell the Gambian people that we do not downplay roads constructions. We do not downplay. They are very significant. They are very important. I mean, in the developmental trajectory of the country, we do not want to downplay electricity supplies. But then, we ask ourselves, you have a meter in your house, but you don't have money to buy the unit that will supply electricity. What is the use of it? You say there are roads, but then these roads are in areas not in areas that really serve the majority of the people. There are highways, but we said that, yes, you can have them. But then the average wanting, the average need of the Gambian people is really to have clean drinking water, to have access to medical supply, medical services, to have access to quality education. Why should there be 2 shifts in our schools? Why should there be? These are the reasons that I'm asking the Gambian people to vote for us, and to make sure, and if they do, then the greatest working force of this country, which are the farmers, will really have their due in every aspect.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ousainou Darboe, for speaking with us here on Africa Things. We wish you the very best, and we'll keep following the latest political developments in the Gambia. And we look forward to having you back to speak with us again about your efforts of becoming the next president of the Republic of the Gambia. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And of course, there also will be the time when I'll talk to you as the president of the Gambia.